Hi there everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this 1500 point game between the forces of the Space Marines and Imperial Guard. In the battle report today, we've got two forces of the Imperium facing off against one another from the Leviathan mission deck. So, for our mission today, we have pulled Crucible of Battle for our deployment zone. Our primary mission is supply drop, so we are going to have 2 out of the 3 no man's land objectives disappear. So for supply drop, this one with the 1 from the Leagues of Votann judgment token markers, that's going to be the alpha objective, and then randomly determined that the 1 in the middle with the 2 on top of it is going to be the omega objective. So the 2 no man's land objectives kind of on the wings are going to be going away over the course of this game. We also have the mission rule of Vox Static, so command reroll stratagem is going to be 2 CP. Just now noticing that New Orders is also now 2 CP, so even more disincentivizes you to try to throw away a secondary card for a new one. So that's the mission. Our table today comes from Titan's Terrain, so everything that you see is going to be obscuring ruins. So everything's 5 inches or taller, can't go through it unless you are an infantry. I'm going to be playing it as kind of the ruined footprints are going to be the actual footprint of the ruins for all the L and U-shaped terrain. Now getting into the armies, for the forces of the Imperial Guard, we again tried to take a mix of infantry and tanks here, just to show kind of a well-rounded list. So I have 4 identical squads of Cadian infantry, 1 with a plasma gun and a Voxcaster. So we have 1 squad over here in this flank. We have a 2nd squad over here in this ruin, kind of towards the center of the battlefield. We have another with the Warlord Cadian Castellan attached here near the home field objective. And then finally, pushing out and being my front lines, I have the 4th and 5th one over here. I've also brought out plenty of the artillery to support. So we have my 2 basilisks, 1 right over here, and 1 over here. So kind of looking down the long shooting alleys on the table. 5-man squad of Attilan Rough Riders here, ready to run out and grab some of the objectives or strike at the Ultramarines. Finishing up the out of line of sight shooting, we have my Manticore. Then for tanks, we have a tank commander with a battle cannon in the middle. We have a executioner with the plasma sponsons and a las cannon in the front. And then finally we have a vanquisher with a las cannon over here. And a Cadian command squad right over here, aiding this infantry squad. To make a point, we did take an enhancement. So the Cadian Castellan has the enhancement of Drill Commander. So when her unit remains stationary, we are going to have a critical hit of a 5-up instead of a 6-up. So when they stand still, their 5s and 6s will automatically go through to wound for the army rule. Nothing in reserves for the guards. Now let's take a look at the Marines. For the forces of the Ultramarines, looking pretty uniformly Primaris for today's battle. We have 5 identical squads of, or not 5 identical squads, we have 4 identical squads of 5 intercessors. Again, similarly to the guardsmen, we've got 1 on this flank ready to run up. We've got a squad with the Primaris captain attached over here. We have a squad on the home field objective for the Marines. And then finally, we have a squad over here with the Primaris Librarian attached. We also needed to bring some anti-vehicle, so I've got my Gladiator Valiant over here with the multi-melta sponsons and the double las cannon on top. Supporting the squad with the captain are my 3 aggressors. Then I've got an Outrider squad with an Invader ATV attached with the multi-melta. Got my Storm Speeder with the triple melta, and the missile pods on top. And then in Deep Strike Reserves, for the Marines, we have 3 Plasma Inceptors and a 5-man squad of Terminators. Mainly filling these just because these are the first ones of the Ultramarines that I painted up from the Leviathan box set, so I wanted to get them on the table for you folks. So that's the mission, the table, and the armies. Now let's go to the roll-off. Both of these armies have some pretty potent anti-vehicle to start off with, so I think both of the armies want to go first. So green dice is going to be the Guard, blue dice is going to be the Ultramarines. And it is going to be Ultramarines at the top of the round. Turn 1 for the Ultramarines, and we did not have any pregame abilities for either army to resolve, so just went ahead and did Oath of Moment and the secondaries for the Marines. The Ultramarines want to cleanse and secure no man's land. So cleanse, maybe I can do cleanse on 1 objective. So cleanse might be able to do that, and then secure no man's land, just take some of the objectives in the middle. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. My Oath of Moment for this turn is going to be the Leman Russ Executioner, just to try to take out 1 of the Leman Russ in the first round. I think it was either that or this Basilisk over here, but the Executioner does have the Gladiator staring it down in the firing lanes, so hopefully that will be enough. With that, we'll go through movement and come back to you at the start of shooting. After moving out with the Marines, here's how we're looking. We advanced up only on a 1 on the advance for the Intercessors with the Librarian attached here. They're just kind of hanging out here on the other side of this ruin, so hopefully they won't be able to be shot out other than maybe the Basilisk and Manticore. The ATV and the Outriders have moved forward towards the center of the battlefield, and they are going to be doing the cleanse action on the middle objective. That way they can get me that card out of the way and a couple of points with it. The Storm Speeder just followed up the Bikers. My home field squad of Intercessors just stand put, while the Aggressor, Intercessors, and Captain also advanced up. Got a 6 and a 5 respectively for their advances, so they were able to make some headway towards the center of the battlefield, while the Gladiator has moved on up to be within range of a second no man's land objective for secure no man's land, and these Intercessors just moved up their 6 inches to start closing the gap. We are going to get started with shooting. I'm going to start off with the Storm Speeder into the Leman Russ Executioner, who is the Oath of Moment target. So spending my 1 CP for the Guard to pop smoke. So we are going to only have the 2 attacks from the missile launcher for the Storm Speeder. So 2 attacks on 4s, re-rolling now. Alright, so whoop, as the Storm Speeder falls off its stand. Alright, and that is going to be a complete whiff for the Storm Speeder. Just making sure that... Yep, that's the only thing that it has. And it does not have the ability to ignore benefits of cover since it did not hit. So that's going to do it for the Storm Speeder. Let's see, falls off the space here. Come on, you. but the storm speeder has been figured out. We're going to move on to the gladiator. Unfortunately, he only has the twin las talon in range of the executioner, so the multi-meltas are not going to be able to go in. We are just going to be at 3s, so 2 shots on 3s. Re-rolling my miss. Alright, so that's going to be 2 hits. And then strength 10, toughness 9, or toughness 11, excuse me. 5s, re-rolling. So we have 1 at AP minus 3. Brings it up to a 4-up save with the benefits of cover for smokescreen. So 1 4-up save for the tank. Not going to do it. So that will be d6 plus 1 damage. 3 damage going through to the Leman Russ. And that's the anti-tank into him. So he got off pretty light there. And with that, that is actually going to do it for the turn. Nothing is in range or line of sight. This intercessor squad doesn't have line of sight, and the other one that advanced over in that building in the corner is just barely out of range of 24 inches. So we are just going to score it up. So we have secured no man's land, and we cleansed on 1 objective for 3 points. So that is going to get us a total of 8 points on secondaries in the first turn for Marines, but not a lot of damage done to the Guard as we go into Imperial Guard turn 1. Turn 1 for the Imperial Guard, and it looks like the cards have reacted to the Ultramarines claiming objectives in no man's land by ordering me to achieve overwhelming force and bring it down. So I want to kill off of objectives, and I want to kill vehicles or monsters. So it looks like the gladiator is on the chopping block today. So for orders from the officers, the Canadian Castellan has ordered her squad to take cover. So nothing much else for them to do since they're only got, piddly little las guns and a plasma gun. So they're just going to try to survive as best they can. While the tank commander has ordered the Vanquisher move, move, move. That way he is going to be able to move around this ruin right over here to draw a line of sight to the gladiator itself. And the command squad also ordered this squad of infantry move, 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 so that they can try to claim some of the no man's land objectives as well. So with that, we are done with orders. Nothing else to do in the command phase, so we are going to get moving. After the movement phase, here's how we are looking. So we moved up with the infantry squad that had move, move, move. The command squad following behind them advanced to make way for the Vanquisher, who is going to be able to sneak some shots into the gladiator right here. And I've popped smoke since this is the beginning of the shooting phase. I'm going to obviously start off with the Vanquisher into the gladiator. So the other 2 Leman Russ have just moved forwards in this kind of middle thoroughfare to get some shots on either the gladiator or the ATV and outriders, depending on if the vehicle falls swiftly or not. We stayed still with all the squads back here. The squad of infantry advanced up and are just staging to get onto the middle objective soon. The Rough Riders moved forwards there 12 inches, ready to take a charge into the Outriders or the squad with the Librarian in it in case the Outriders do in fact go down. And then the squad advanced as well, but they are making their home in this ruin. So this is actually where the models are. They're actually on the second and kind of standing on top of the ruins of this building so that they can get a better look at the surroundings and stage for this no man's land objective in the meantime. So that, nothing else to do for movement, and as I said, we started off with the Leman Russ Vanquisher in shooting phase, so we are going to get it started. So we are going to be hitting on 5s because I popped smoke with the Gladiator Valiant. So looking for high rolls here from the Vanquisher. That's a 3. So no look there with the Vanquisher Battle Cannon. And now the Las Cannon, also on a 5. No such luck there. So that is going to do it for the Vanquisher, unfortunately. Next up, we're going to go with the Executioner. Everything he's got is going to go ahead into the Gladiator, and I'm going to supercharge all of the plasma. Now, I am doing this, yes, to get the secondary, but also because if I can take out the Gladiator, that's one really, really big anti-vehicle target that the Ultramarines have, and then my vehicles can be a lot safer for the rest of the game. So we're going to start off with the Las Cannon first from the Executioner on a 5. Alright, so we are going to hit with that. And then Strength 12, Toughness 10, so 3s to wound. That'll be 1 wound. At -3, goes to -2 for smoke. So it's going to be a 5-up save for the Valiant. Not going to make it there, and CP rerolls are 2 CP. So, D6 plus 1 damage on the Las Cannon. Another 3, interesting. So 3 damage there from the Las Cannon. Now we're going to go to the Executioner Plasma. So D6 plus 3 shots. Oof, just the 4 shots, unfortunately. So 3, 4 shots on 5s. Nothing. And then the 2 Plasma Cannons. So 2d3 shots there. Oof, just 3 shots on 5s. Alright, so 2 shots or 2 wounds there. Wounding on 5s. So 1 wound at -3, go to -2. So 5-up save again. Not going to do it. And that's going to be 2 more damage for a total of 5 on the Gladiator. And then the hazardous checks for the Executioner. So triple 1s would bring me down to 1 wound. But alas, I am all set there. Finally, for the Tank Commander, we are going to fire everything that he's got into the Gladiator itself. So we are going to start off with 1 shot from Las Cannon on a 5. No such luck there. And then D6 plus 3 shots from his Battle Cannon for 7 shots from the Battle Cannon, so doing a little bit better there. 7 shots on 5s. So 3 shots, Strength 10, Toughness 10, 4s to wound. So 1 wound at, it's going to essentially be no AP thanks to smoke, so a 3-up save will just make it. So unfortunately, 3 Leman Russes shot into the Gladiator and only took 5 wounds. Next up for shooting, I'm going to spend my 1 CP for Expert Bombardiers. So this squad of infantry with a Voxcaster can just barely see the Gladiator. So that is going to give this Basilisk, which can also see the Gladiator, +1 to hit. So essentially nullifying the -1/2 hit from smoke for that Basilisk. We're going to see if we can at least bracket the Gladiator at this point. So it's going to be D6 plus 3 shots from the Basilisk on 4s. All right, so that does, so that 1 CP did get me another hit. Then strength 8, toughness 10, so 5s to wound. All right, so 2 wounds here. At -2 goes to -1, so 4-up saves. Make both of those, unfortunately. I also shot the heavy bolter from this basilisk to no avail. So while I still have the card out, I'm just going to go right on over to our other basilisk. He is going to put everything he's got into the ATVs. Starting to think that I'm not going to take out the gladiator. I'm just going to put guns into some targets that are hopefully going to be a little easier to kill. So D6 plus 3 shots here for the Earthshaker battery for another 7. On 4s, that 6 will automatically go through to wound thanks to having stayed still. Strength 8, toughness 5 for 3s. 2 wounds at -2 AP. They're all the same. And I am just going to start taking these on Outriders. So this will be 2 5-up saves. And make both of those. Then the heavy bolter from the basilisk. Nothing there. Alright, so we are on to the last indirect fire. We're going to go with the Manticore. And since we are already taking -1 to hit and getting the benefits of cover, we're going to go right on into the gladiator here with the Manticore. So its Storm Eagle Rocket is going to be D6 plus 1 shots. Alright, so 7 shots there for 5s to hit. That 6 is going to go right on through to wound. So 2 hits at 4s to wound. So 1 more wound at -1 goes to -1 AP. So a 4-up save. Make both of those. Whew. So that is all of the vehicles done shooting from the guard. So now we just have small arms fire from the rest of the infantry. So, all of the small arms fire from the rest of the guard off camera did a total of a single wound to 1 of the Outriders in the squad. So we are not showing the blistering firepower of the guard as much as I would have liked to in this turn. So with that, we are just going to go into the charge phase. The Rough Riders are going to try to charge into the Outriders, try to, if not kill them, which hopefully they can do, at least dispute the point. So charging on in with an 8 will get them in. So we will come back with the spears and kicks into the bikers. So after the charge, all 5 of the Rough Riders were able to make it into combat with the ATVs, or with the Outriders and the ATV rather. So we're going to go with the Hunting Lance Melted Tips for now. So we are going to have 4 attacks on 3s. Very good. And then Strength 9, Toughness 5. So usually wounding on a 3, but +1 to wound since I have the Lance ability. So 2s to wound. 3 wounds at -4 AP will go right on through. So I have a single Outrider left with 3 wounds remaining. So D6 damage will be 3. That's 1 dead. D6 damage to kill another. So 4 damage to kill another biker. And then at this point, I will just have 1 biker and the ATV left. The ATV is on the point, so I'm actually going to start taking this on the ATV. So it's D6 damage on the ATV. So 2 damage on the Outrider ATV. So he will have 6 wounds left, and then these 2 bikers in the back are removed. Then we have the Goad Lance. We will have 2 attacks from this on 3s. 1 hit, strength 6, toughness 5. And I do have Lance again, so 2. A 2-up save, so a -2 AP, so a 5-up save. Makes it. And then all the extra attacks from the steed's hooves. The hooves were able to take out another wound off the ATV, so now it's down to 5 out of its original 8. Now we will go to the attacks back from the Lone Outrider and the ATV. So 4 attacks from the Astartes Chainsword on 3s. And then strength 4, toughness 4. 1 wound at -1. Will be a 5-up save, which will fail. So 1 will be on a single wound. And then 5 attacks from the close combat weapon of the ATV. Will be on 3s. And forced wound. Nothing there. So 1 damage taken onto one of the Rough Riders in exchange for 2 Outriders and a bit of wounds off the ATV. So with that, that is the end of Guard turn 1, and we were pretty unsuccessful in just about everything that we tried to do. We didn't even bracket the Gladiator. We didn't take the middle objective, and the only things dead are 2 Outriders. And the Ultramarines are closing in fast and have reinforcements inbound. So that is not a good turn 1 for the Guard. For secondaries, I've decided to bin both Bring It Down and Overwhelming Force. So gains me a CP, but otherwise it is a scoreless turn 1 for the Guard as we go into round 2. And turn 2 for the Ultramarines. Turn 2 for the Ultramarines. A couple of things in the command phase. We are going to go into the Devastator Doctrine for the Ultramarines. So we are going to have Advance and Shoot. But I've also spent 1 CP on Adaptive Strategy for the Outriders and the ATV on Assault Doctrine. So they are going to be able to fall back and charge. Excuse me, no, it is the Tactical Doctrine that I'm going to put them in. So that is fall back, shoot, and charge for the ATV and Lone Outrider. They did not need to make a leadership check since they're at half strength and not below half strength. And for secondaries, we drew Assassination and Overwhelming Force. So kill a character and kill off of objectives. So with that being known, we are going to declare the Tank Commander as our Oath of Moment for the Ultramarines to make sure that we are able to take some more of the points for the Ultramarines as we go into movement phase. The Ultramarines continue to move forward throughout the board, and we are halfway through the reinforcement step of the movement phase. The Inceptors have taken their meteoric descent to drop right down, danger close to the Guard lines. However, this has allowed the Guard to overwatch, so I'm spending my 1 CP for the Leman Russ Executioner to go full bore Overwatch into the Inceptors after they end their move. So we are going to get right to it. So we're going to try to hopefully kill at least one of these guys as they drop out of the sky. So we're going to start off with 1 shot from the last cannon on a 6. That's pretty cocked. Nope. Then the overcharging Executioner cannon is going to be D6 plus 3 for 5 shots. For 5 shots from the Guard. Ugh, nothing. And then overcharging the Sponson Plasma. 5 shots again. And that's going to be 2 hits. Strength 8, toughness 6, so 3s to wound. Ugh, and double 1s to wound, so completely whiffed on the attacks there. And I take 3 mortal wounds for the trouble of trying to kill him. So that is a continuing show that the guard just are not in the right space for shooting right now. So after the Inceptors were able to drop down without repercussions, we deep struck the Terminators and finished up movement for the Ultramarines. So we have advanced up with just about everybody since we can advance and fire for Devastator Doctrine. So we have moved on up here with the Intercessors. Gladiator is danger close to the Tank Commander. Captain and his Intercessor Aggressors are just moving towards the center. Hammer Strike's here, ready to take out a tank, hopefully. The Outriders fell back and are just aiming their multi-melta towards one of my Basilisks, while the Librarian and Terminators are in this squad are in this ruin. So, gonna have lots and lots of shots here for the Marines. So we're gonna hope to kill everything that we can rather quickly for the Marines. We are gonna start the shooting phase for the Ultramarines with the Inceptors. They're gonna put everything that they've got into the Tank Commander with Oath of Moment on him. And I am going to supercharge my Plasma Exterminators just to try to get these, or get the Oath of Moment target down as quick as possible. So 2 attacks, or 2 shots each. So 6 shots on 3s. Rerolling thanks to Oath. So 5s to wound. Rerolling for Oath and for Twin Linked. So 4 wounds at AP -3 into the Tank Commander. So 5 up saves. Make 1 fail 3 of those. That is going to be a total of 9 damage to the Tank Commander, bringing him down to 4 wounds remaining. And then, do any of them perish for the troubles? They do not. Next up in shooting, I'm going to go with the Storm Speeder Hammer Strike. Everything that he's got is going to go into the Tank Commander as well. So we are going to start off with the Melter Destroyer. 3 shots on 3s. Rerolling thanks to Oath of Moment. Strength 9, toughness 11, so 5 rerolling. So take 1, 2 of them at AP -4 are going to be 6 up saves for the Tank Commander. Fail both of those, so that is going to be 2d6 plus 4 damage. So 8 damage onto the Tank Commander will be more than enough to destroy him. So we are going to roll for his Death Befitting an Officer. So on a 2-up, he can fire at full wounds. He does. And then Deadly Demise D3. He will Deadly Demise. So I am going to resolve his shots for Death Befitting an Officer first. So he is going to go ahead and put everything he's got into the Gladiator, since it hasn't shot, hoping to either take it down or take it low enough so it is bracketed so it doesn't take another one of my vehicles out. We'll go with the Las Cannon first. Misses. And then his Battle Cannon, D6 plus 3 shots, for a total of 8 shots into the Gladiator on 4s. Oof, so only 3 hits. And then 4s to wound. It's going to be 1 wound at -1 AP. So a 4-up save will do it. So that will take 3 wounds off of the gladiator. And just bracket it. So I did do what I wanted to with him. And then Deadly Demise D3 for him will hit a whole bunch of stuff. So after the Deadly Demise was resolved from the tank commander, we are 1 less Inceptor in this squad. We took wound off of the Exterminator. The command squad is down to just the Metapack and the officer. And what was it? Only 2 of the 2 of the infantry from this squad were removed. With that resolved, we're going to go on to the gladiator, who did get bracketed in the last stand of the tank commander, and he's going to go into the exterminator, try to take out another one of the Leman Russ. So we're going to start off with the multi-meltas here. This is going to be 4 shots from the 2 of them on 4s because I'm bracketed. And then strength 10, toughness 11, 5s to wound, nothing there. And then the twin las talon, going to be 2 hits. Again, strength 10, toughness 11, so 5s to wound, nothing there, unfortunately. Next up, I'm going to go with the aggressors. The aggressors are going to go and try to finish off the squad of infantry. They're going to fire everything that they've got, the grenade launchers and the bolt storm gauntlets into them. We'll start with the grenade launchers. This is going to be 3d6 plus 3 for blast. So, not great there. So 3, 6, 9 shots, including the 3 from blast. So not great there. We're going to be hitting on 3s. And then wounding on 3s as well. Not great there. So just the 2 at 5-up saves. Make 1, fail 1. That's going to be 1 of the guardsmen gone. And then the bolt storm gauntlets are going to be another 9 shots from the aggressors. Hitting on 3s. And these are twin linked, so re-rolling my 3s to wound. So 5 wounds at 5-up saves. We'll take another 5 of them off the board. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just leaving 2 infantry out of that squad. Next up in shooting, I'm going to do this squad of intercessors. I'm going to split fire a little bit. 2 of them with their bolt rifles are going to go into the Acadian infantry, and 3 of them are going to go into the remains of the command squad. So we are going to go with the 4 shots from the ones into the regular infantrymen. Just 1 hit and no wounds. And then the 3 of them into the command squad. 4 hits, 3s to wound, 3 wounds at -1. This is going to be 6-ups. Make 2, fail 1. And then a 6-up feel no pain on the Metapack will kill the Metapack. So that'll just leave the officer from that squad alive. Then the intercessor squad attached to the captain is going to use the captain's once per round ability for a free stratagem for Storm of Fire. That's going to give their bolt rifles into the Rough Riders ignore cover and an additional AP since we're in the Devastator Doctrine. This is going to be all the bolt rifles first, hitting on 3s, and then wounding on 4s. That'll be 4 of them at -2 AP. and that will be 4 wounds going through. So that'll kill 1, 2, and a half of the Outriders. Or not Outriders, the Rough Riders. So 1, 2, and a half Rough Riders. Then the Captain shots. 2 shots from the Captain on 2s. And then Forced Wound. Just the 1 wound at a -1 AP. Will not make it, and that's 2 damage, but that will kill another one of the Rough Riders. The Outrider squad with the ATV is going to split fire. Their twin bolt rifles are going to fire back into the 2 remaining Outriders, while the multi-melta is going to go ahead into this Basilisk. So we're going to start off with 4 shots from the twin bolt rifles on 3s. And Forced Wound, just the 1 wound at a -1 AP. We'll take another wound off of one of the horsemen. And then the multi-melta, 2 shots on 3s. Both of those will hit. And need 5s to wound. Nothing there, unfortunately, into the Basilisk. My mistake. Looking at the toughness of the Basilisk, it is only T9, so those 2 4s would have wounded. So those are both going to be at -4, so no save. Not in melter range, unfortunately, so 2d6 wounds onto the Basilisk. A 5 and a 1. So 6 damage onto a Basilisk, taking it down to 5. This squad of intercessors that stayed still are going to try to continue killing the Rough Riders with 10 shots on 2s, since I did not move. 4s to wound. So 5 wounds at -1 AP. So 5 up saves. Make 2 of them. And that is just enough to kill the squad of Rough Riders. Next up is going to be the squad of intercessors with the Attacks Librarian. And they are going to put everything that they've got into this squad of infantry hiding behind the ruins. So 10 shots on 3s. And then 3s to wound. 4 6-up saves to make. Fail all of those, so 4 of the infantry are going to go down. And we'll just do the regular smite from the Librarian for a total of 4 shots into the infantry on 3s and 3s. For a total of 3 wounds at -1. So 6-ups will be another 3 of the infantry gone. For our final shooting, we're going to go with the Terminators. Everything that they've got is going to go into this squad of infantry. So, starting off the Terminator shots with 16 Stormbolter shots on 3s. Used reroll 1s there. Big chunk of 1s and a couple 2s in there. And then 3s to wound. So that is going to be a total of 4 at a 4-up save, since they have the benefits of cover. So 2 of the infantry are going to go down there. And then the assault cannon is 6 shots on 3s. 4 hits, and then 2s to wound, 6s are devastating. So that 6 is going to be devastating. And then 3 of them at 4-up saves. There'll be another 2 dead. So that will take off half of the squad in one fell swoop from the Terminators. In the charge phase, the only charge that went through was the ATV and Outrider into the 3 guardsmen. So we're going to do that real quick. So just kind of boop them in close combat. 4 attacks from the chainsword on 3s. Oof. On a 3 to wound. And a 6-up save will not save one of them. That'll kill one of the guardsmen. And then finally, 5 attacks from the close combat weapon on 3s and 3s. Now we have 5-up saves, so statistically they're dead, but nope, they are just dead enough. That is going to be the squad wiped there. And that is going to do it for the turn for the Ultramarines. So we were able to take a character down for 5 points, and we killed 1 unit off of an objective for another 3. That's going to be 8 points, taking us up to 26-0 at the end of turn 2 for the Ultramarines. And pretty quickly, it's a tough fight for the Guard. We still have plenty of tanks to go, but is that going to be enough? We shall see in turn 2 for the Guard. Turn 2 for the Astra Militarum. We've gotten some orders that should hopefully get us some points. I don't know if it's going to be anywhere near enough to get us out of the hole that we're in, but we have been ordered to defend Stronghold and engage on all fronts. We've got 2 out of the 3 quarters needed for small engage done, and then the officer from the command squad right over here issued move to these 2 remaining infantrymen who were not battle shocked, but the officer is. So we were able to we're hopefully going to be able to get them moving. As for defend Stronghold, if we can kill the Inceptors and the Outrider squad, we should hopefully be able to complete that sooner rather than later. Other than that, we're going to have to try to claw our way out of this mess of Ultramarines that are swarming us on all sides. So here's how we're looking after movement from the Guard. It was pretty quick, all things considered. These 2 infantrymen advanced up to get on this objective. Probably not going to really do anything to actually claim it, but I want to be on it just in case. The Vanquisher and the Executioner stood still, so that they're going to be able to get 6s automatically hitting, or automatically wounding rather, excuse me. The officer back here just advanced, tried to fall away from the massive arms from the Ultramarines. Stood still here, and with the Basilisk and Manticore. Other Basilisks stood still while these infantry just moved up a little bit, trying to get some guns on either the Outriders or the Intercessors on that No Man's Land objective. Also, forgot to mention in the last clip, this squad of infantry did take aim, so they're going to be hitting on 3s and not 4s, trying their best to help kill the Inceptors. We're going to start off the shooting phase with the Leman Russ Vanquisher. Everything he's got is going to go on into the Gladiator, just to try to take that off the board. And while I do have enough CP for it, I'm not going to pop smoke on this, just because it's already at 4, it's already degraded. So probably not the best use of a CP. So I'm going to take a shot with a las cannon on a 4. And that's a 3, which won't do it. The Vanquisher Battle Cannon will now hit on a 3 since it's heavy and I stood still. And that's a 2. That is not going to do it, unfortunately. We're going to go to this squad of infantry next, just to try to start working on the 2 remaining Inceptors to try to get them off the board. We're going to go with all the las shots and the plasma overcharging into them. These are all the las gun and last pistol shots. Hitting on 3s, 5 and 6s are going to automatically go through to wound, but I only got a single 6 and a whole bunch of 1s and 2s. So I guess the dice are just against the guard today. And then 5s to wound here, or actually no, 6s to wound here since Inceptors are toughness 6. So that is just going to be the 1, which they don't even have the grace to fail. Now the Plasma Gunner will try to hit on 3s, miss once, and 1 will go right on through to a wound. At -3 AP will be 6s. Does not make it there. And 2 damage on the Supercharged Plasma will take one of them down to a single wound remaining. Does he blow himself up in the process? He does not. Continuing to try to kill the Inceptors off the board. I'm going to spend 1 CP for Expert Bombardiers to have the Manticore get +1 to hit. So they are going to get the extra armor save, but that's not going to help it for the -1 to hit. So this is blast, heavy, and direct sight. So heavy will take me to a 3, +1, -1, so I'm hitting on 3s with d6 +1 shots from the rocket. Ugh, just the 3 shots from the rocket on 3s. Strength 10 versus toughness 6 will be 3s to wound. Just the 1 wound at -1 AP will make a save there. So wasted CP and a wasted Manticore. At this point, I think I really need them dead. So I'm going to go everything except for the las cannon from the Exterminator in the Inceptors. The las cannon's just going to go right on ahead into the Gladiator. So we'll do the las cannon right now, which will be a miss. We're going to start off with the Executioner Plasma Cannon. We'll just do the regular non-supercharged version. So we will have d6 +3 shots, 5 shots. Don't think the guard brought their A game today. So this is going to be 4s. So 6s will automatically go through the wound, at least. And it's not heavy, so I don't get that +1 to hit. -2 AP will bring us up to 5s. Alright, and that at least will kill 1. Bring the remaining 1 down to 1 wound remaining. Then 2d3 shots from the plasma cannons. I only have 1 wound to get through, so 3 shots on 4s. 1 hit, 1 wound at -2 AP, so 5 upper die, and that'll be a 3. That is the Inceptors at the very least done, but not where I wanted to put the Exterminator. Just about the last big guns are the Basilisks, and they are going to go right ahead and fire both into the Outriders. I'm going to start with the one on full wounds who does not have line of sight. So this is going to be -1 to hit, +1 armor. So Earthshaker Cannon is going to be d6 +3 for 7 shots. 7 shots at 4s since I stood still. So those 3s will miss. That 6 will go right on through the wound. Strength 8, toughness 5. So 3 wounds at -1 AP essentially will be a 4-up save. Make 2, fail 1. So 2 damage going through from that Basilisk onto the ATV. Then I'm going to have to do the same thing for the other Basilisk who can see. So everything that it's got into the Outriders. So d6 plus 3 shots for another 7 shots from the Earthshaker Cannon, this time on 3s since I don't have the indirect penalty. So only 1 miss. 1 will go right on through. And then 3 wound. Ooh, alright. There we go. Now this finally might actually do some damage. Minus 1 AP, so 4-up saves. So 2 of those will kill the ATV. 1 of those will do 2 damage to the remaining biker. And then I just have the heavy bolter left on 4s. And 4 is to wound. So 1 4-up save or the Outrider is gone. Alright, so the Outrider is gone from that Basilisk. So definitely going to be able to achieve secure or defend stronghold at least. But other than that, not a ton of great progress in shooting the Ultramarines. So the only other thing that we have left for shooting was this 5-man squad of infantry. We were able to kill a single intercessor out of the squad thanks to overcharging my plasma. I did kill the plasma in the process, but a plasma gunner for an intercessor, that's pretty good. They're probably not going to be long for this world regardless. So that is the turn, because no reason to charge in with either of the tanks or the infantry. They're just going to get killed. We do get small engage on all fronts. So this is going to be 3 points on engage, and hopefully I have defended my stronghold. So I'm on the board for the guard, but it still does not look great with Ultramarines basically controlling the board as we go into top of round 3 for Marines. Turn 3 with the Ultramarines, and I think the cards are trying to send a message that you don't mess with the Sons of Guilliman, even if you are Imperials. We got 15 points on primary and 2 very easy secondaries, attempting target and engage in all fronts. So engage, I'm already there. Attempting target, I'm on all 3 of the no man's land objectives. So I decided this one would be tempting for the Ultramarines just so something has to stay on the objective over here, so we can't run off with the intercessors and the terminators to try to punch the basilisk to death or anything. But I think it is going to be pretty clear who is in control of this game after this turn. So we'll go through movement with the Marines. I don't think we even need to, but I won't declare any of the doctrines this turn either. So, end of movement phase for the Ultramarines. Just to try to get some advantage, I did Overwatch in their movement phase with the Executioner. He lost 3 wounds in exchange for killing 1 of the aggressors. So, not nothing. But I don't think that's going to be enough to swing the game or anything. The Storm Speeder has, sped into the guard deployment zone, not risking claiming the stronghold for the guard, but definitely risking some of the safety of the vehicles, while I just move forward here towards the middle, and the intercessors with the Task Librarian have moved forward to take out those interfering infantrymen. So with that, we're going to go through all of the small shots I'm going to do off camera. So this squad of intercessors are going to shoot these 2 infantry. All the shots from the aggressors and the intercessors and the captain are going to go into this Lehman Russ to see if we can finish it off before the big guns need to fire, while the intercessors and captain here are going to finish off these infantrymen. So, off camera, those two infantry squads died to the intercessors, quite unsurprisingly. The Leman Russ in the middle did take a single wound. I also did the Terminator's shots into this Basilisk, who went down to 2 wounds remaining. And now for the big shots left, we're going to go with the Gladiator into the 2 wound Executioner, just to try to get it gone. We are going to be -1/+1 from the Gladiator's Ferocious Assault model on the Twin Las Talon. So this is still going to be on 3s. Miss once, hit once. So there's going to be strength 10 into toughness 11, so 5s twin linked. Oop, that's pretty cocked. So 5s twin linked. Not going to do it there. And then the 2 multi-meltas on 4s. Oof, just 1 wound. On strength 10 versus toughness 11. That's not going to do it. Then that is going to leave the Storm Speeder to try to fire. And I think the Storm Speeder at this point is, if I can ever find the sheet, I'm trying to find it and talk. Where is it? There it is. Storm Speeder is going to split fire. The Melter Destroyer is going to go into the Executioner, and then everything else it's got is going to go into this Basilisk. So the Melter Destroyer, 3 shots on 3s, and then 5s to wound. Nothing there. So I think the Executioner is still going to be alive, unless the aggressors go in and punch it to death. Now we're going to have the Hammer Strike Missile Launcher into the Basilisk on 3s, and 4s to wound. 1 wound at -3 AP for a 6-up save, and d6 damage. 3 damage onto that Basilisk, and then the Grenade Launchers on 3s, and 4s to wound. 1 wound at -1 will be a save. So 3 damage taken onto the Basilisk, but nothing on the Land Raider, or not Land Raider, Leman Russ. In the charge phase, the aggressors have charged on into the Exterminator, and no other real need to go anywhere with the Ultramarines in close combat. We're going to have 6 attacks from the Power Fists hitting on 4s. So just 2 hits. Strength 8, toughness 11. No wounds. And then 6 attacks back from the Leman Russ on 4s. Strength 7, toughness 6, so 3s to wound at no AP. So 2 3-up saves. Well, take a single wound off of an aggressor. Great. So that's going to do it for turn 3 with the Ultramarines. And at the end of Ultramarines turn 3, it is 51 to the Ultramarines to 6 for the Imperial Guard. So at this point, it would take a miracle for the Guard to basically be able to do anything to claw their way back into this game. So I am going to call mercy for the Guard and say it is a victory for the Sons of the 13th Legion today. Hope everybody enjoyed the game, even though the Guard were a little lackluster today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more videos where hopefully the armies actually show what they can do and not just shoot like a wet noodle. I'm sure there's some Xenos filth out there in the 41st millennium that does shoot noodles of some sort. Sounds like something the Eldari would do for a laugh. But make sure to stick around on the channel, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see all you folks on the next battlefield of the 41st millennium.